Okay, this is a re-upload of my old Five Nights at Freddy's videos. I very stupidly deleted them after my relationship with FNaF soured after the Goosebumps cash grab books that were awful, in the midst of a bad emotional state brought on by being addicted to reading comments, which I have since trained myself not to do. I was also younger, and I had several mental illnesses which weren't being medicated properly, and I just went fucking insane. And I feel really ashamed of all that now, like I probably really damaged my channel. I'm okay now, it's amazing what Wellbutrin and approaching 30 can fix. I really wish I hadn't deleted these no matter how much I didn't like FNaF anymore. It wasn't fair because a lot of children who didn't understand my jokes really liked these videos, and it wasn't fair to me because I got some good AdSense from them, damn it. Though I don't know why anyone likes these, like my narration is shit, like you can just hear the oversaturated sadness in my voice, the delivery is awful. YouTubing was a poor career choice. So here they are, here's the FNaF videos, the ones I'm not ashamed of showing at least. Just keep in mind that I no longer like the series and Scott Cawthon is a terrible person who gives money to politicians who do not want gun control and want abortion to be banned. Do not give this man your money. Rich Christian Texans are not your friends. I mean, you're probably 12 and fully submerged in irony culture, so you don't care, but hey. Buy merch from Etsy or Redbubble if you have to have merch. Don't spend money on any new games. They only have about 5 minutes of quality control anyway. How you play Security Breach is up to you. Also, keep in mind that these are really outdated, so no one yell at me for not knowing how the fuck Soul Gorilla Glue works or whatever the fuck is currently happening in the lore. Enjoy. Okay, everyone's got their own take on the FNaF timeline, so here's my useless opinion. This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. So once upon a time, there were these two guys, William Afton and Henry And now I know the Silver Eyes isn't canon with the games, but the name Afton is canon, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume some elements, like first names and some characters are canon too, so William abandoned his beautiful life in England to move to bumfuck nowhere, Utah with his friend Henry so they can make robots together. William and his wife, meanwhile, produce a kid named Michael, then Henry and William opened Fredbear's Family Diner in 1973, starring Fredbear and Spring Bunny, and then later, I guess, Freddy, Bonbon, What's-Her-Name, and Fox McCloud. Then William and his wife have some more kids, Masky Boy, Crying Kid, and Debbie Harry. So in 1983, William and his wife's marriage starts to fall apart because it was probably never that great to begin with because William got her pregnant and it was the 60s, so their families forced them to marry, and he made her abandon her life in Bristol to move to Utah, and they start trying to patch things up by rekindling their romance by visiting New York at Christmas, but it just ends up with them stumbling down the street drunk off their asses at 2 in the morning with William shouting, "I could have been someone," and his wife shouting, "Well, so could anyone." So that doesn't work, so they file for divorce. So Crying Kid is all sad all the time, and his only friends are plush toys, and Masky Boy is like 13 or something, and being sad is for pussies, but he really is upset and doesn't know how to healthily express his emotions because Purple Fucker was his dad. Even if William doesn't think he was the kid's dad, because clearly the kid's not the same ethnicity as the rest of the family, he knows that's not his kid, and the mom's always drunk, so he does what most 13-year-old boys do, acts like a complete prick, and takes out his feelings on people weaker than him. Mostly this takes the form of wearing a foxy mask and hiding behind or under shit and popping out of nowhere when you least expect it, which is a perfect metaphor for the series. I know he's gonna pop up, but let's just get it the fuck over with, and then I'll lie on the floor and cry for 3 hours and 20 minutes, and I'll forget what I was crying about and just start dwelling on my insecurities. But, Debbie is probably like a baby or something in 4, so this is hardly affecting her, so she's got a better relationship with her dad later on. So Crying Kid has a Fredbear plushie that tells him to burn things, but he doesn't want to, so the Fredbear plushie just kinda tries to help him deal with his problems a little bit, but really Purple Guy just sewed a walkie-talkie in the Fred plush and drove the kid insane, and now the kid is seeing the plushie everywhere, and that's why he's flowy. So then the kid's birthday comes, and right on the day that his parents go to court to get a divorce, so they leave him with his prick brother and his prick friends, and Masky Boy's like, "Bro, dudes, homies, what if we stuck my bro's head and my dad's a robot?" And they're like, "This is an utterly brilliant plan. What could possibly go wrong?" And then Crying Kid just fucking dies. Then Misty Boy finally learns to grieve properly after causing the death of his younger brother, and William's like, well, if it makes you feel better, he was only your half-brother. So now this kid's parents are divorced and his brother died on the same fucking day, and he's like, wow, I really fucking hate myself and also my life. So Mrs. Afton gets custody of Misty Boy and Debbie, but Michael at this point is like 18 and can do whatever the fuck he wants, so he lives with William, and that's why they're so tight and have the same voice actor, who, by the way, has the most beautiful voice I have ever heard in my life. Listen to this shit.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be.
It's like poetry being read by a god.
And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now.
PJ Haywood, you need to do a con just so I can hear you talk some more. So Henry's like, William, your kid died on our property due to an animatronic you helped build as a result of you not watching your kids or raising them correctly. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to fire you. We're closing down this week anyway because we can't get the blood stains off the bear, so it doesn't matter anyway. And William's like, dude, it's cool. I take full responsibility to understand. I hope this doesn't affect our friendship. And Henry's like, of course not. And hey, in a few years, I'll get the company to revamp the place, and everyone will have forgotten about this by then, so we can totally hire you back, but I think we'll scrap Spring Bunny, though. And William's like, what? So because Henry refused to use William's bunny husbando anymore, William's like, fine, I'll kill everybody. So he kills the kid outside Fredbear's and then just drives off like security cameras don't exist. And then he kills 5 more kids outside Pirate Cove just to fuck with Foxy, because Foxy's his least favorite because foxes eat bunnies. And one of these kids happens to be one of Henry's kids, and he's like, oh shit, whoops, sorry, Sammy. Maybe we'll make a spin-off book based on your tragic death and your friend's adventures of breaking and entering. So in 1987, Fazbear Entertainment makes Freddy Fazbear's Pizza that Henry because Henry's dealing with some personal things. Read the book if you don't catch my drift. Not the greatest thing in the world, but it's a solid C+ or B- in my opinion. Anyway, Henry's not around, so Freddy Fazbear's Pizza's opened. William works for them now and helps build the robots and installs this facial recognition software into them, so they see everyone as like a murderer except for him. And then they stick him on the night shift, and he's like, oh fuck you guys, I want to kill even more kids. So he gets out of the night guard duty because the puppet who's possessed by the first kid he killed, and then Foxy who fucking knows what he did. He was there, man. I see you. So William complains and gets off the day shift. So some kid named Jeremy Fitzgerald, who's just trying to make a down payment on his car, gets put on the night shift and has to put up with the animatronics bullshit. And Freddy's like, is that the same guy? And Bonnie's like, Freddy, there's no lights in this place and I can't decide if I have my guitar or not. So they're like, alright, it's the same guy. So Bonnie and Six-Piece Chicken McNobody come out to look for their missing limbs, and Freddy has seen some shit, so they team up with their replacements to try to kill this innocent 19-year-old that's just trying to get a car to drive to college so he can go for a semester and then realize he can't handle the workload and drop out and just spend his day playing video games and crying. I can't believe I just turned Jeremy into my self-insert OC. Anyway, William murders 5 more kids because they fucking put him on guard duty after he built them robots and won't even use this as Bondo. So the puppet's like, okay bros, there's only one thing to do. Steal corpses, shove them into these suits, and hope for the best. I need a drink. So because William killed some more kids and forgot again security cameras existed, Freddy's closes for like 2 weeks, and they decide to throw away the new animatronics because people won't stop arguing over Mangle and Bonnie's genders, and they're sick of hearing it. And they use the old guys instead and just upgrade them slightly for the new restaurant, because if there's one thing we need, it's another restaurant to tempt fate. So meanwhile, Michael Afton has been in school hoping to become an engineer like his dad, and he's pretty good at it, but William's out of a job and can't pay for his classes anymore, so Michael has to go to community college and gets a degree in graphic design or some shit you can't get a job in. I don't fucking know. But in order to pay for community college, he needs a job. And he sees Freddy's and like, hey, my dad used to work in one of these restaurants, he'll apply here. So he applies, and they're like, oh, your last name is Afton. About that. So he lies and says his last name is Schmidt, so he gets hired to work for the night shift because their other guard named Crouton or something just fucking died. Problem here is Freddy's has only been open a couple years, and despite lasting longer than last place, it's not making enough money to stay open because a diner based on 2 places where a total of 12 children fucking died probably wasn't the best idea. Like, it's one thing to ride on the success of something, but to ride on 2 failures, that's just a poor business model. They think after years of disappointment, you're gonna suddenly find a success with a restaurant filled with killer animatronics. What the hell would that ever happen? So when Freddy's is on its last leg, Fazbear Entertainment scrapes all its money together and is like, okay, we gotta save this. We have to create a new restaurant, a sister location, using new characters where nothing bad could possibly ever happen. But then they're like, ooh, we'll build it. And William's like, oh, ladies. And they're like, God damn it, fine, but only because you're good at building robots. Here's the characters you need to use. And William's like, awesome, I can do that. Can I spring Bonnie too? And they're like, no. And William's like, fuck you, I'm making the murder machines. Meanwhile, Michael got fired and is just sitting at home watching shitty soap operas and crying on the couch and shouting, I could have been an engineer. And then his dad calls him up and was like, yo, Mikey, help me out and build a giant little girl, 2 furries, and the most graceful mannequin ever. So Michael's like, fuck, sure, man. And then he helps build the murder bots. But he doesn't know they're murder bots. So after they build Circus Baby, Kellen Goff, Bon Bon, Fun Tim, Mango, and Boobs Mackenzie, they set up into the restaurant and need to do the most 90s entertainment thing ever, focus group it. They're going to let a limited number of kids into the restaurant and see how that plays out. This happens to fall on one of William's mandatory weekends with Debbie, who's like 9 or 10 or something now, and William's like, God fucking damn it, now I have an extra gremlin running around. So Baby's singing and counting the kids and wondering why the hell she's programmed to do that, but whatever, and Debbie's like, I want to see Baby, Daddy, let me see the robot or I will throw a tantrum of the legs of which this world is never seen. And William's like, look, honey child, your mom said if you die she's gonna stab me in my sleep, so just stay near me, okay? And then so then oh, god damn it. So then William's like, yo, Mikey, watch Debs for a minute. And Michael fucks up and looks away for a nanosecond. Debbie runs off and over to Baby. It's like, why the fuck are you 7 feet tall? That seems excessive, but whatever, you're still cute, I guess. And Baby's like, oh, cute kid, all alone. Why is my body shutting down and involuntarily making ice cream? And Debbie goes to grab the ice cream, and then Baby fucking murders her like the killjoy she is. Because Scott Cawthon has an odd fixation on children's suffering. And so William's like, shit. Also, according to a phone call in FNaF 3, there was also a spring suit failure here, so maybe there's more than just the blonde girl that died, and maybe an employee died too, and I don't know. So William's like, hey, Fazbear Entertainment, we can't open, and they're like, fuck, why? And William's like, gas leaks? And they're like, okay, that sounds legit, but we're fucking bankrupt because our current Freddy's is making nothing and we just poured all our money into that restaurant that's never going to open. So they close Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and Baby and friends get moved to an underground warehouse. So later on, William gets some insurance money and convinces Fazbear Entertainment to let him use the robots he built to make his own sister company called Afton Robotics of Dreams and Life and rent them out for parties and shit. And they're like, aight. So meanwhile, the puppet's like, oh boy, another child. I guess I better put your soul in a robot. How about I put your soul in the robot that killed you? And Debbie's like, literally, why? And the puppet's like, no reason, I'm just kind of sick. So he puts Debbie in Baby. Oh my god. Then after William opens the rental place, he creates a thing called the Scooper to rip out animatronics inside when they get too sentient for his taste. This is an utterly flawless plan. So William notices no matter how much he gets Scoop, Baby still stays pretty sentient, and he's like, oh shit, she's possessed by my daughter and wants revenge. So he calls up Michael and is like, hey, sport, do your dad a solid and work in his underground facility for a few weeks fixing robots so that your sister's soul that's possessing Circus Baby feels at peace and is free from this world. And Michael's like, okay. So Michael goes down there and the computer meme unit thinks his name is Eggs Benedict, and we all have ourselves a good laugh, and then we actually realize that we have to play the game. And so Michael dicks around for a few days, gets memed on some more.
Exotic butters.
And then Baby shoves him into a spring suit from her pizzeria because she thinks he's William, and let's face it, we all want to do the same thing. So Mikey Ego Ben has to watch Ballora get her insides ripped out, and we see how good of a rack she really has. And then the gremlins attack and get revenge for their goddess, and I don't know anyone who actually likes this level. Yet somehow the mini arenas are actually liked more than BB, you know? Life's a bitch. So Michael survives that and goes home and watches old TV shows that only come on at 4 a.m. and shoves popcorn into his mouth like he didn't just go through one of the most traumatic experiences of his life, but let's face it, we've all been there. Then again, he's just seen his parents get divorced, his brother die, his sister die, some of which were indirectly his fault, so he's probably pretty dead inside at this point, and he's just like, yep, same shit as always. So then he goes back to the next night like nothing fucking happened, and he sees 2 dead guys and just like, yeah, okay, I don't care, my soul is dead. And my name is Eggs. Nothing feels real and I just want my dad to love me. So Meme Unit goes and he tells him to fix Baby, and Michael's like, hey. So he goes and Baby's like, hey man, I know I just tried to kill you literally 24 hours ago, but I need you to do me a huge favor. Take this chip out of my arm and then just fucking burn my body, okay? And Mike's like, yeah, this will probably free my sister's soul. Sure. So Baby's like, go to the scooping room and just go to fucking town and destroy me. Pretend I'm BB if that helps you. So Mike goes to the scooping room, and it turns out Baby, Ballora, Freddy, Bon, and Foxy took their scooped out innards and cobbled them together to fuse into one being named Ennard, so they can escape by scooping out Mike's organs, ripping his skeleton out, and wearing his flesh as a suit. And Ennard wonders why they don't get those little keychains at GameStop with their face on it. So Ennard is now Michael and becomes the most popular person in town, but it turns out when skin's not attached to, like, a living being, it starts to, like, be not good no more, and Ennard, like, throws themselves into the sewer because purple just wasn't their color. So it looks like Michael Eggs is finally dead, but then Baby keeps telling them he won't die.
You won't die. You won't die. You won't die. You won't die.
Even though that line came from an ending that wasn't canon, so he's like, oh my god, Jesus, I get it, just shut up, Debbie. And William calls him up and it's like, Mikey boy, did you free your sister's soul? And Mike's like, yeah. And Will's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go bust up some old animatronics for no reason, see you tomorrow. Oh my god, there's more plot. Okay, so William goes to bust up the animatronics from the 90s place because I don't fucking know, they were the ones that witnessed him murder a bunch of kids, or he's just really fucking petty, one of those. So he tears the animatronics apart like wet newspaper. Jeez, I can't believe the night guards actually had trouble with these things. He goes to finally save his husbando, only to be confronted by 5 dead kids who were freed when the animatronics were torn apart, maybe, or maybe they're the other 5 kids who died, I don't fucking know. Do I look like a running blue pixel man that made 4 games in the span of a year and knows the story? So Purple William is like, holy fucking shit, who knew murdering 12 kids would come back and bite me in the ass? So the kids don't really know what to do because they don't have hands, but William's freaking out anyway, and he's like, husbando, help me. So he goes into Spring Husband and thinks, well, those idiots in FNaF 2 were fooled by this, maybe these kids will be too. But Bonnie is like, fuck you, prick, I'm an Iron Maiden now. And Purple Guy's organs get turned into jelly, thus freeing the children. And the moral of the story is that revenge solves everything so long as it's against the right people. This was written by a Christian, wasn't it? Holy fuck, there's more plot, kill me. And then 30 years later, there's this new place called the Fazbear's Fuck Pit, Fright, and it's basically run by a bunch of college students who are only into Freddy's because of memes and creepypastas online. I assume that because there's mention in universe of people making Foxy cosplays, which can only mean it got popular on the internet. Problem is that they don't they don't have any animatronics because they all are either busted up or live in the sewer, but they find, like, the room where William died in Spring Bonnie, and they're like, fucking jackpot, and one guy's like, Chad, there's a mummified corpse in this suit, and Chad's like, even better. So William possesses Spring Bonnie, and at last he is one with his husbando, because that joke is not old to me yet, and thinks to himself, well, I'm alive again, maybe God has given me a second chance at life to reform myself and atone for my sins, so my soul can finally know peace. Too bad I'm gonna spend my second chance breaking this nerd's neck. So this nerd, who's been hired for Fazbear's fuck house, has to put up with William's bullshit for a week while also putting up with the jump scare machines while also dealing with the company's bullshit decision to use camera equipment from the Stone Age. Long story short, William's bitter ex finds out that he's still alive and burns Fazbear's Fright down as revenge for killing 3 out of 4 of their kids. And the guard is out of a job and decides they're never going to sleep again. So, Michael, as a hollow flesh gremlin, has been wandering around for 30 years wondering where the fuck his dad went, and suddenly William pops up from the rubble and it's like, surprise, fucker, I'm a ghost and a robot, you can't kill me. Then he reunites with Michael and finds Ennard, who is still possessed by Debbie despite what Michael said, and they all take a road trip to Vegas together while Fredbear wonders where his life went wrong. The moral of the story is murder is bad, the 80s fucking sucked, right now fucking sucks, and indie games are the only things that make me feel anymore at the end. Whew.
Is this how you end the series? I mean, is this where we go from here? Okay, the movie better sure as hell make up for this. I'm telling you right now, because I'm stuck in nowhere land. You ran out of ink too, didn't you, you bastards?
Fresh,
exotic
butter. Is there anything more comforting?
Here we go. Hey, remember Michael Afton, who was only known for a while as Eggs Benedict, even though his real name was staring us right in the fucking face? Remember how at the very end of Sister Location, Ennard ejected themselves from the skin suit they made out of him, and he came back to life as a hollow, decayed flesh husk, and then vowed to come find his father?
There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Wow! 30 years later, Mikey A is still searching for his dad, and his dad is now haunting the suit of his bunny husbando and is Utah's newest cryptid after escaping a burning theme park attraction. Mike's sister Elizabeth is, surprise, surprise, not free just because Michael rocketed themselves out of his empty husk body, so everything is going great. So Ennard is pissed off and living in the sewers, and have heard the Pennywise joke so many times that it's not even funny anymore. Belora's like, well baby, you really fucked us over with this whole amalgamation idea. We were in a facility that tended to our every need, but no, you had to go and want to steal a guy's flesh. And Baby's like, shut the fuck up, how was I supposed to know human flesh wouldn't last that long? And Freddy's like, hey, don't tell us to shut up. We don't have to do what you fucking say. And Baby's like, you will do everything I tell you to do. I'm the one driving this unholy fusion. And then Funtime Foxy finds the eject button and they kick Baby out of the van. Baby's like, you can't kick me out of the band. I am the band. But Ennard just ignores her and scuttles off somewhere. And for some reason they thought it was a good idea to give the wheel to Freddy. So Baby starts her solo career and goes for a more punk rock grunge thing this time around. Really love the roller skate lobster claw combo going on. And if you think that's some shit I made up, I didn't. Might have embellished a little. But that actually happened in the source codes for Scott Games and the FNaF World website, and unless you knew how to check that and realize it was a conversation Ennard was having with themselves, you're probably going to be so confused. Anyway, there's a new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opening, and they need a manager. Mikey, bored with looking for his deadbeat father, decides, fuck it, why not? And because Fazbear Entertainment has only the highest of standards, he immediately gets the job. It starts all cute and shit, he gets to buy things for the restaurant, and he even gets a little helper version of Funtime Freddy named Helpy. But one of his jobs that this mysterious Rod Serling sounding guy wants him to do is look in the back alley for animatronics to harvest. This is a completely reasonable thing to ask of this mysterious purple husk of a man you just hired. And what do you know? The first one is the remains of Ennard themselves. He does this weird fucking audio thing that I have no idea what it's supposed to prove. Then Freddy whispers something.
Thanks for letting me join the party. I'll try not to disappoint.
Holy fuck, Funtime. Freddy can talk like a normal person. You know, you can tell me whatever twist you want. You can tell me that Michael Afton wasn't actually William's son and is actually the twin brother, Sammy, of the book series protagonist, Charlotte, and he was kidnapped by William so he could raise him and use him like a pawn in his murder schemes, and it still wouldn't shock me as much as Funtime Freddy being able to speak without screaming. So while he's doing all this stuff at night, Helpy's like,
Michael Afton, you know that the morality center of your long-dead sister's soul lies in the very mishmash of animatronics you have just harvested, detached from a conscious spirit to guide it. Nothing you did in that facility freed her. You died in vain, and you have been living a lie for the past 3 decades of your undead life.
And Mike's like, yeah, cool, and logs off for the day. So the next day, who the fuck should he find but Utah's favorite cryptid himself, the undead Easter Bunny? And Mike's like, well, hi, Dad. Fancy fucking meeting you here. And Springtrap has, like, this voice. It's like, I'm pretty sure if the concept of death had a voice, this would be it.
What a deceptive calling. I knew it was a lie the moment I heard it, obviously. But it is intriguing nonetheless.
How the hell did this man make it as a children's entertainer? How did his voice alone just not make swaths of toddlers cry instantaneously? Like, I'm entering my mid-20s, and this voice struck the fear of God into me. And Mike's like, Jesus Christ, fine, you can crash at my pizzeria. I'm only doing this because the Twilight Zone narrator said to.
If you are playing this tape, that means that not only have you been checking outside at the end of every shift, as you were instructed to do, but also that you have found something that meets the criteria of your special obligations under paragraph 4.
So now poor Mikey has to do his job in this hot as shit basement with not only a crazed bear animatronic harboring a piece of his sister's soul that he's using to gain sentience, but also his dad, who looks like he just got up from passing out at the rave behind Anthrocon, which I'm willing to bet is exactly what happened and probably how he lost his arm. And this is all between setting up his pizzeria for the day, taking out a loan to buy Funtime Chica, hiring a priest to deal with Music Man, and breaking Helpy's spine about 10 separate times. Mike just bought the place for a lark, and how he's dealing with 6 types of evil, including himself. And Helpy's like,
You must face your past to be at peace with yourself. Speak to your father and remind him of the single drop of humanity that may still reside within him. It may set you both free at last and end your torment.
and Michael's like, no. So the next day, guess who pops by? Hot Topic baby herself. Guess she didn't get the memo that most physical Hot Topics don't even carry FNaF stuff anymore because the mall by me is hot garbage and has to make room for a bunch more meaningless nostalgia and 70 billion more pieces of Lilo and Stitch merchandise. I just want a fucking sister location t-shirt. Why is this so much to ask, Hot Topic? So anyway, Baby's about to make Michael an offer he can't refuse, but he keeps tasing her because she won't put her goddamn head down. And it's like, it's so hard, because I don't want their value to go down because I need money in case of, like, the lawsuits, and I'm saving up to buy Rockstar Foxy, but I've had them, like, jump scare me while they were at phase 2. What is the system here? So now Michael's father and his whole sister are trying to kill him. And Mike's like, hey Dad, remember how you were like 100% sure that Liz wasn't yours because Mom kept cheating on you because you preferred fucking robot bunnies to people? And Springtrap's like, well yeah, of course. I'm sorry, that's not what he sounds like. Well yes, of course. I'm not doing that. Well, considering the 2 animatronics that have my sister's soul in them are very stealthily trying to murder me, and Liz also had a troubling fixation on robots, I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess that Liz is your daughter, and she inherited your dominant pain in the fucking ass trait. So Baby's like trying to kill her brother again while trying to get Frenard over there to fuse with her. And Springtrap's being haunting as shit, and Frenard is screaming and scuttling through the vents while in the back of Kellingoff's mind he knows that this is it. This is the thing he's known for, and no matter what he does, his Twitter mentions will just be constantly filled with awkward nerds asking him about Funtime Freddy. Maybe he should audition for Bendy and the Egg Machine. It's at least a different awkward obsessive fan base will be begging for the Freddy people back after that. I'm so sorry. So, by this point, Michael's regretting signing that contract written in blood and is on the verge of a nervous breakdown and has one more animatronic to salvage for parts, and he's like, who is it? Is it another Freddy? Is it Chica? Is it, I don't know, fucking BB? Just kill me and get it over with, you cowards! And it's a cuter version of Nightmare from FNaF 4. Okay. And Mike's like, what? And Cute Nightmare is like, the suit I inhabit is known as Lefty. It sounds like a clever name based on the fact that my left eye is broken, but it actually stands for lure, encapsulate, fuse, transport, and extract. I'm actually the highly volatile marionette from the 1987 restaurant, and your boss used this suit to capture me and bring me here. It's me, Charlotte. You knew me when I was still alive. I was only a child. Your father brutally murdered me right outside of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And then I went on to give the marionette true sentience, as it was the only thing that showed any sign of remorse or regret for my death at the time. We became one, and now we are one with this suit that we cannot escape. I'm that Charlie chick from the books. And Michael's like, oh right, you're Charlie, Henry's kid. You're the one possessing that Jack-in-the-Box puppet thing? Wasn't everyone terrified of that? Yeah, I guess no one wants to play with a Charlie in the box. I worked it in. I did it. And then Helpy's like,
Fate has brought these lost souls together for a reason, Michael. You know that, don't you? The victims of this cursed franchise have been released from the mechanical prisons years ago, helped along by the symbolic ghosts of the very machines that attempted to prevent and avenge their untimely deaths in the first place. Your sister, your father, Charlotte, and you. These are the only souls remaining, and they were all drawn here for a reason. You must find a way to release them and yourself from this purgatory.
oh my god. And Mike's like, look dude, I've got enough on my plate right now. Don't ask me to perform an exorcism. Not that I don't know how. This isn't the only restaurant chain to have souls bound to it, you know. Okay, so by some goddamn miracle, you actually survive past 2 God-forbidden seconds of this night. You actually get to the end of the game. It was only 5 nights. What are the fucking odds? The power goes out. You hear Baby say, look at all these souls, all in one place, just for me. I will make you proud, Daddy. And Springtrap's like, make me proud by killing your brother? You already did that once and failed. You're a fucking disappointment. Didn't you call me here to kill children or something? That's why I'm doing any of this. I'm mentally only 9 years old and I'm ready to murder someone in cold blood just to impress you. And then Mike's boss comes over the intercom or whatever and is like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, but that's not why you were brought here. Nor were you brought here by the individual you think you were. You all have been caught in a maze, a never-ending labyrinth of sounds and smells designed to entice you. This labyrinth is also known as the Twilight Zone. Oh my god, what the fuck are you talking about? Look, I'm Henry from the books. In this continuity, I didn't die. I'm the father of the girl who's possessing the puppet, who is now Lefty, who I'm presuming is Charlotte, who died when she was a kid. In this continuity, I got all of you together because you're the last souls still trapped in the animatronics, and once all the souls are free of their robotic bodies, they can be together and finally be at peace knowing that they're all free and that William is burning in hell. And Mike's like, oh my god, all this stuff is exactly what Helpy was telling me. I really should have listened. Wow. Mike, he's a plastic bear. I think you might have finally snapped, implying I didn't snap when my own sister got at me like a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so this place is gonna just burst into flames in about 2 seconds with you all and me in it, so goodbye, Mike, and burn in hell, William. Fuck you too, Henry. The moral is, don't die on the property of Fazbear Entertainment because they'll own the copyright to your soul and you'll be forced to inhabit a robot and sing the same stupid songs for 20 years until the CEO decides to burn himself and his property down with you in it. So that was the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. It's over. It's done. That was the end. Yep. I think that wrapped up all the major things pretty well, leaving just enough mystery to keep us interested in the franchise for a while to come. That was it. That's it, everyone. It's done. It's over. After Custom Night, another 5 books, a movie, and an undetermined number of possible games from other developers. The end. It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? We won, and it ended, and it's answered, and it's gone. It's over, isn't it? Why can't I move on? Hello all, today I'm delving back into Five Nights at Freddy's Hell. Almost literally if you subscribe to the theory that Ultimate Custom Night is William Afton's personal hell, which I do readily, don't at me. Well, yes, I'm going to do one of my normal breakdown videos on this game. I thought I'd do a fun thing first, and also because those take a long time to write and record, and it's really hot, and our central air is broken, and I have to be downstairs with the window unit, and I can't record as often, and I don't want to get heat exhaustion. Anyway, so today I'm doing a short video reviewing all the new voices we heard in Ultimate Custom Night, because that's what I was looking forward to the most when it was announced that this game would have a bunch of voice acting. Sorry, Scott, I know you worked hard for months on programming everything, but all that was important to me was hearing what Mangle sounded like. Sorry. Now, I'm not going over voices that were established previously, because we'd kind of automatically be used to it, so no Scrap Trap, Baby Ballora, Frenard, Phone Guy, or... that's it. And just so you know, all those guys, I love their voices, they're perfect. Heather Masters and Michelle Amos have the voices of angels. Also, I like Scott's voice, and I was a little sad that Phone Guy didn't have any new phone calls. It's almost like Scott was busy with something else or something. I don't know, man. So let's do this. Let's rank the previously established characters that had no voice, but now they have a voice. And something I want to point out is that this list would have started with Freddy Fazbear himself, because Freddy was gonna get a voice, but ended up not getting one, despite many talented auditions, according to Scott. He never gave a reason, but if I had to harbor a guess, it might feel weird picking out a voice for the face of the franchise after keeping him mostly silent for this many years. I left my fan on. It's also worth noting that despite many of their counterparts getting voiced, the original Bonnie and Chica are also out of luck in the voice department. I don't think I ever even saw auditions for them go up, so I guess let's start with Foxy.
Never underestimate the cunning of a pirate. Or a fox, for that matter.
Foxy the Pirate. I imagine Foxy was pretty easy to cast since the fandom more or less agreed on what he sounded like. You know, how you'd imagine a scruffy old cartoon pirate to sound. There wasn't much pressure, as there was probably with Freddy, Bonnie, or Chica. No headcanons were lost this day. Except mine, I wanted him to sound like Don Carnage.
It is the feared pirate, Don Carnage. And how are you?
It's exactly what you'd think it would be, but also given a fun edge and a lot of personality, and isn't just a generic pirate voice, and isn't Johnny Depp. Toy Freddy.
If I get jump scared, you get jump scared.
Okay, so Toy Freddy has always been one of my favorites for, like, no reason. There is nothing special about Toy Freddy. He's just a little cuter than original Freddy, and he's got a little red thing on his hat. However, he got a little more love after Scott made an offhand joke about how Toy Freddy is retired when objections were raised about there being no Nightmare Toy Freddy in the FNaF 4 DLC. Because at the time, I think everybody kind of assumed the DLC was nightmare versions of the FNaF 2 guys. It wasn't. It was just Mangle and BB. So for UCN, Scott decided to keep going with that, and Toy Freddy is retired and just plays Five Nights at Mr. Hugs all night, presumably putting it on YouTube. The jump scares get him a ton of hits, and he makes more money off it than I've probably ever seen in my life. He, probably also plays, Chica Chica Literature Club. Anyway, he has a very goofy-sounding cartoony voice, a lot goofier than I've ever pictured in my head, but pretty close to what I've imagined.
That game was totally rigged!
With a voice like this, he's pretty hard to take seriously, but given that I'm pretty sure this was the first mechanic where any guise of seriousness for this game was dropped, it's very appropriate. Okay, so Toy Bonnie was originally gonna have a voice, and then just also didn't, like OG Freddy, but unlike Freddy, I don't understand this one. I imagine he'd sound pretty similar to Bon Bon, I guess. So, if anyone has an answer for why he didn't get one, I'd love it. I'd love an explanation for that. I'm honestly a little bit sad. Toy Chica.
You won't get tired of dying, will you?
So Chica's got the same voice actor that she did in Update to a FNaF World, and I have always held the opinion that that was a pretty perfect voice for her, even if it was just like a Slippy Toad parody.
Alright, I'm ready for action!
It was pretty damn accurate to what you'd hear in a Chuck E. Cheese type place, or Showbiz Pizza. Overly cutesy and, sweet, and she's the token girl. In UCN, she more or less has the same voice, but with a teensy bit more maturity, a little creepier. Compare.
You won't get tired of my voice, will you? You won't get tired of my voice, will you?
I will never get tired of your voice, Chica. Mangle!
Don't be afraid. Soon you will look just like me. Beautiful.
So, Mangle's got this adorable, staticky, distorted voice, and God bless him for it. It fits right in with the static radio noises she makes, and is just a good voice on its own. I never really had any idea of what Mangle sounded like in my head, especially after accepting that Mangle didn't have a set gender. They're male and female, according to what we've seen, as much as a death robot can be. But you know how it is. But I really, really like the traditionally feminine voice combined with the vocal effects. Mangle has been one of my favorites since I saw her, and he deserved a lovely little cute voice like this. Good Mango, 10 out of 10. Withered Chica.
I have seen him, the one you shouldn't have killed.
So, Withered Chica's another character where I just had no idea of what she could have sounded like. I keep failing on the headcanon front, but what we got still wasn't quite like what I would picture, I guess. It's a bit more mature sounding than, say, Toy Chica, despite them just being two versions of the same character. And, at first I thought that was weird, but, it kind of fits, given what Freddy's is parodying, mimicking, whatever you want to call it. Take Helen Henny from Chuck E. Cheese. She started out having, kind of a more mature voice. She was a grown woman.
Well, that's exactly what these Broadway numbers are for, to lift you up when your dreams have let you down, to start your foot tapping even though your heart is breaking.
I ask her a simple question and I get a pageant here.
But today she sounds like a pretty young woman or a teenager.
Hey, Chucky, look at this old picture of us that I found.
Oh, wow.
So since Withered Chica's the first Chica, according to her, that's pretty appropriate.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
However, the strong vocal effects make it really hard to understand a lot of what she's saying. Like with Mangle, that can be the case too, but it's still clear enough for me to understand if I listen hard enough. Like I don't know if the tremolo on the voice would have happened naturally on a broken robot voice box, but come to think of it, she shouldn't really even have a voice box. Her mouth would just sync up to the music and dialogue playing over the speakers on the stage. None of this is technically canon anyway. Criticism withdrawn. Good voice. Withered Bonnie. Oh boy, you thought the distortion on Chico was heavy. Listen to this. The dialogue is fun. I love the face puns. It's been long enough where he can joke about it. I appreciate that. And with the heavy distortion, I understand that for Withered Bonnie, because he's probably missing some pieces that should make his voice comprehensible. He sounds like a 60s robot, kind of, but if the 60s could add digital reverb. And I'm not opposed to this, but it's all the effects.
Might as well face the facts. You were always destined to fail.
I can't even really hear what voice the actor is actually giving him. Still, though, I like 60s robots, and I can't argue the distortion is appropriate. Good Bon. Thank you for this Bon. Marionette.
I recognize you, but I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore.
The Marionette's voice haunts me. We know from Pizzeria Simulator that the puppet was possessed by a little girl who was the daughter of the creator of Freddy's, presumably making him Henry from the books, which would likely make the puppet possessed by his daughter from the book, Charlotte. In the puppet's dialogue in the game, she mentions being very self-aware of herself, unlike the other possessed animatronics who act more like animals, which is appropriate. So presumably being self-aware means getting to use your own voice, like William did with Springtrap. And since Charlotte was a little girl when she died, super young probably, we get a really young-sounding voice. The voice isn't what you would expect to come from this character, but it's what you'd expect to come out of the ghost child haunting it. It gets a perfect score from me, because I'd feel bad otherwise. Nightmare Freddy.
What a gift to relish, a victim that can't perish.
Nightmare Freddy sounds like he should be a Batman villain or something. This is what Bane should have sounded like in The Dark Knight Rises. In fact, just switch their voices. Nightmare Freddy sounds like evil Sean Connery now, and is threatening to blow up a football field, and snaps Michael Afton's spine in half, because I don't know who else can be Batman. Anyway, I wasn't expecting any nightmares to get any voices, since they all seem like silent monster types, and not really characters, but I'm down with nightmares having voices. It's a good voice, but for such a violent attacker in both games he was in, I feel like it should sound more violent, not like the calm monologuer type, but I was expecting nothing, so I'm not disappointed. Nightmare Fredbear.
Let me put you back together, then take you apart all over again.
Nightmare Fredbear put the fear of God into me. Nightmare.
You will not be spared. You will not be saved.
Nightmare makes me believe hell is real and will make me live my life every day in fear of spending all eternity there if I even make the slightest moral slip-up. Jacko Chica.
The fire within me burns eternal, and now you shall as well.
Okay, so I kind of whined about Withered Chica and Withered Bonnie having too many effects on their voice. Well, you know what? There's not enough effects on Jacko Chica's voice. Too light on the wavering, just pile it on. Make her sound like she's on fire. Because that's what she talks about, because she's like a jack-o'-lantern. She keeps talking about the fire, within. I'm in an office with a confessed arsonist here. But it's pretty cute. Nightmare Mangle. No voice. Makes good sounds, though. Night Mario.
Let's taste death again and again and again.
Okay, so I'm a little split about this voice. I like it, it fits the design, it's good, but it's also a little too similar to Nightmare in both the voice and tone and the stuff they say, except Nightmarion has more vocal glitching. Now this makes sense in a way because in the DLC, Nightmarion was featured and he was just a reskin for Nightmare, so it makes sense that they'd be so similar. I literally have no other ideas for what they'd sound like, so I'm not complaining or anything. The actors did a good job, nice effects, barely even sounds like a human voice, which was the goal. Nightmare BB, aka Dude McTeeth the Man. Thanks for that one, Markiplier.
Come closer. Help me count my teeth.
His voice is slimy and smarmy and really uncomfortable. In short, it's perfect for Nightmare BB. Gets better once you listen to that cover of Yakko's Universe that his voice actor Matthew Curtis did on his YouTube. I love you, Nightmare BB.
Across the interstellar voids are a billion asteroids, gleaming meteors and Halley's Comet too. And there's over 50 moons floating out there like balloons in a panoramic trillion-mile view.
Funtime Foxy. Oh my god, Funtime Foxy.
A performance was demanded of me, and now I have delivered. Encore!
So, since Maggle and Fun Foxy are effectively two versions of the same character, and the character has at least two genders, don't at me. I like this loud, booming, masculine voice contrast to the more feminine voice on Mangle. It's not the voice I ever imagined Funtime Foxy having, and I admit I'm still getting a little used to it being this character's voice, but I really do enjoy it. It complements her spazzed movement in Sister Location really well, and I also like how blown out it is, like she's just massacring his own volume levels. Also, new Metaton headcanon voice.
I'm sorry, but there was never enough room on this stage for both of us.
Entered. Weird static, not Heather Masters, 0 out of 5. Trash in the gang.
Hey, down here. Hello. I wanted to ask you something. It's something really important.
Look, if there was one character that everyone agreed needed voice acting or the world would crumble, it was number 1 Crate. We must thank Scott and number 1 Crate's voice actor every day for this. Happy Frog.
I bet you weren't expecting me, were ya? Turn your back for 1 second and I'm like, wazoo! Ninja skills.
Sounds like an exaggeration of every weeaboo anime fangirl I knew in middle school. It's perfect. Mr. Hippo.
My friend, you have met a terrible, terrible demise. But, I don't feel too bad about it. After all, if it weren't from me, it would have just been from someone else, you know? I guess what I'm trying to say is life goes on. Well, for everyone else, life goes on. Not for you. You're dead. But that's neither here nor there.
Mr. Hippo
is
a treasure to this earth, and the voice is so not what I expected, but it's so perfect for the situation that, like, what else can you say? He's already been saying it for 12 minutes.
I said to him, Orville, not every story has to have significance, you know? Sometimes a story is just a story. If you try to read into every little thing and find meaning in everything anyone says, you'll just drive yourself crazy. I had a friend do it once. Wasn't pretty. We talked about it for years.
Pig Patch.
If you sit by the river long enough, you will see the body of your enemy float by.
I like the voice, but he sounds like he's in the scary backwoods part of the South that would shoot me for daring to accidentally step foot on his property. Luckily, it comes with a cheerful banjo riff to lighten the mood. Ned Bear.
Don't you hate getting killed by obscure secondary characters?
Ned Bear sounds like he comes from a similarly scary part of the South as Pig Patch, only he's drunk. which could make it scarier. But he seems like a pretty fun, self-aware drunk, but then sometimes he says really troubling things because he's sobering up, but still in a light haze of intoxication. Then I get scared again.
This is how it feels, and you get to experience it over and over and over again, forever. I will never let you leave.
Still pretty much what I thought Ned Bear would sound like. Orville.
I hope you enjoyed the grand finale.
Oh my god, I love Orville. He sounds so friendly and so great. Like, he's one of those entertainers that just loves his job and is enjoying life, but then realizes he's stuck in hell with a child murderer. So he says troubling things too.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here. No matter how many times they burn us.
Also, he's friends with Mr. Hippo, and their voices kind of complement each other, and I really like that. Rockstar Freddy.
Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins.
Not exactly what I expected a Freddy to sound like, but then again, we're getting a diverse range of Freddy voices here. Except for that one. He doesn't say much, but damn is he persistent. He sounds really friendly, which will throw you off when he starts demanding you pay him or you're getting whacked today. So it's like a fun contrast thing. Rockstar Bonnie.
So good to see you again, my truest friend. But now your life must end.
Okay, so Rockstar Bonnie's voice confused the hell out of me for a while. Like, why all these effects? Why can't I just hear what he actually sounds like? But then I remember there's the song I hear on the radio sometimes, and I think it's Peter Frampton making his guitar talk, so it has like this robot voice. Like, rockers love robot voices. And Rockstar Bonnie is an actual robot, so he can do it without all the equipment, so it's totally in character, and it totally works.
Rockstar Chica.
That's right! And don't you come back now, you hear?
Rockstar Chica sounds friendly and not like she's from the scary parts of the South mentioned earlier, like a nice part of Florida or something. I love her voice, she's cute. Rockstar Foxy.
Yar, me bird likes you, so I'll do ye a favor.
Sounds like a friendlier version of original Foxy. Sounds a little younger, a little more Irish, and like he's made less bad decisions in his life. Music Man.
You hear that? It's the sweet, sweet sound of your eternal silence.
And here we see probably the greatest casting decision that could have possibly been made. Like, Music Man is a spooky guy, yeah, according to you people, I'd never thought that. But he also looks like he's ready to party. So, while I had my dumb nerd headcanon voices for him before, I can now think of no more fitting voice than this wondrous and flamboyant and perfect voice. Matthew Curtis, like, sings in this voice sometimes, and I really eat that stuff up like goddamn candy.
There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. It isn't far to Hushabye Mountain, and your boat waits down by the quay.
He needs to do, like I really want him to do, like, a duet, like, with another actor. I think he talked about that on Twitter. I don't know if, like, it went through. Maybe it's probably a lot of trouble. But, like, it'd just be really cool. Like, I'd love a duet with, like, Joe Goddard. Is that... I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, man. But, like, with Rockstar Foxy, or Funtime Foxy, you voiced both Foxys, I think that was both him. So I just think that'd be fun. Or Heather Masters, I really like her, only if she can sing. I don't wanna make her do something she doesn't wanna do. Funtime Chica.
I'm ready for my close-up. Don't get distracted.
Similar to Toy Chica, but less threatening and more cutesy, and distinct in her own way. Very cute, pretty perfect. Also, thank you for casting Becky Shrimpton. If she can't be Bon Bon, I'm glad she was able to get another character. Lefty.
Come spend eternity inside with me.
Okay, so Lefty is also the puppet, who is also Charlotte. But Lefty is the puppet 30 or more years later after the events of FNaF 2. She sounds different, sounds like she's being strangled due to being trapped in that bear suit, probably. But, well, I'm glad she still sounds like a young girl. I am also a little confused as to why it seems to be a different voice than the puppet. Unless all those years of being the puppet have kind of beaten her down, or being Lefty did that, and maybe she sounds a little older now, maybe her soul matured, I don't know. Now I'm sad. Good voice, though. Dee Dee.
Uh-oh, how unfortunate. Uh-oh, how unfortunate. I know how much you like to fight, so I'll add a new problem to your night.
Have you ever simultaneously loved and hated a character all at the same time? Have you ever heard a voice so cute but under the worst of circumstances? So you come to associate what should be the sweetest of sounds with the baddest of times. Well, you've lived the Dee Dee experience, and now we all have to live with it. I, for one, accept our new Dee Dee overlord. So that's all the new voices. They're all good. Because I'd feel bad if I said they weren't good. In fact, saying some of them had too many effects, or whatever I said, makes me feel bad for possibly, insulting the actors that worked so hard creating a voice and auditioning, and I feel like I should send flowers and candy to their house with a note saying how sorry I am for voicing a mild nitpick. But in order to afford all those flowers and candy, I need money, so donate to my Patreon. Smooth transition there. And get perks like seeing videos early, getting thanked in the credits. You're clicking off this, aren't you? You're hitting the back button. You're going to watch Game Grumps play Paper Mario or another CDI Zelda game. I don't know what they're playing right now. I haven't watched them in a while. I've been busy, damn it. But guess I'll just keep going. Where was I? Voting on topics for videos and hearing the full version of any credit song that I sing, which won't be this episode. Okay, bye!
People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never share. No one dare disturb the sound of silence.
Well, you people seem to like my Five Nights at Freddy's videos, so okay. As you probably know, Ultimate Custom Night was initially DLC for Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, but quickly had to get spun off into its own game. Then Scott said he's done with Pizzeria Sim because he's happy with it, thus crushing my dreams for Endless Tycoon mode. Anyway, this game doesn't really have a linear story, so if you saw my first two FNaF breakdowns, then you know what an incoherent mess this is about to be, but times that by 20! After the events of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, where Henry, the creator of Fredbear's and Freddy's, finally puts all this bullshit he started to an end. As a result, the last few souls go free, and all tragedy attached to this cursed franchise can end. Michael's hollow flesh husk is finally destroyed, and he goes to heaven for all his hard work. Charlotte is free from her double-decker animatronic prison. Whatever the hell was in Frenard is dead, and Henry dies with his franchise, even though it would be advisable to stay alive and make sure there's no shred of your failed pizza place left. But maybe he did, and he was the last piece. The god of the Freddy universe is strict but forgiving. Unless, of course, you're William Afton, in which case, welcome to your ironic robot hell!
William Afton, for your crimes against humanity, children, innocence, and all that is good, you have been sentenced to spend all of eternity in your own personal hell, made from your worst memories, the worst crimes you have inflicted on others. Now you will know what you have done, what you have put your son through, what you have done to your daughter, This is for all the children whose childhoods you have stolen away. This is for ruining us.
Yep, William Afton is such an irredeemable fucker that he had a special customized hell made just for him. Instead of fire and brimstone, he gets a manifestation of everything that he tortured in life, turning around and torturing him while he's glued to a chair in a hot-as-tits office that a simple desk fan can bring down to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So in William's customizable hell, you can choose from 50 characters to torment his soul forever. Country Bear Jamboree, Bon Jovi, Chonka, Fox on the Run, Big Boy, Blue Bunny Ice Cream, Chicken Thighs, Mango, Balloon Boy, Jaloon Joy, Six-Piece Chicken McNobody, Face Off, Retcon, I have no idea what your backstory is, Creepypasta Fursuit, Rotten Mango, Trying Too Hard to Be Spooky, Put It Back, Teeth, Teeth 2, The Teethening, Teeth 3, The Revenge, Teeth 4, Teeth in Space, Chica S. Pumpkins, Teeth 5, Teeth Takes Manhattan, and Teeth 6, Back to the Hood, Night Macaroon, Constantly Disappointed Grandpa, quietly the best character in the series, Ballerina, you must have seen her, Never-Ending Gender Debate, Metal Spaghettle, I can't believe I fell for the fucking troll when I first downloaded the game. Joke I Won't Let Go. Old Man Talks About Cloud for 5 minutes. Toned Down Boss from FNaF World. Drunk Uncle. An Elephant That Never Forgets to Kill. Microtransaction. Peter Frampton's Guitar. Country Fried Chicken. Russian Roulette. You'll marry a music man. Mr. Chipper, who left Tyke the family business and decided to open a Mexican restaurant. Chicken Breast. Fuck you, you're not getting Funtime Freddy. Grunge Band Phase. Rainforest Aftermath. Google it. Robots in Disguise. Please give me new audio for this character. And Frog. In addition to them is Dee Dee, a girl who likes fishing from FNaF World. Unless you have Dee Dee repel, you're basically at her mercy. She can summon anyone who isn't activated, or summon a character you have no control over. Those characters are her FNaF World buddy Lolbit, as well as the Mini-Renas, Bonnet, Plushtrap, Nightmare Chica, and Shadow Bonnie. Fredbear is also here as a fun Easter egg. However, Spring Bonnie is not here because this is William's hell and he does not get his husbando. So see, each of them has their own unique mechanic, or a mechanic they share with a few others. See, Freddy just comes towards your door, and Toy Bonnie and Toy Chico wiggle into your office, Mangle's in the vent, Springtrap's in the vent too, but he can't be stopped by the vent snares, see. Marionette has her music box mechanic, Toy Freddy's a gamer, Baby won't leave until you buy her merch, Chica plays in the kitchen where the music box is, but sometimes she gets sick of the music so you have to change it or activate the global music box. And if you want to activate a bunch at once, you have to devote brain space to remembering everyone's individual mechanics. Also, 50/20 mode looks like this. But internet people being who they are, a lot of people have actually managed to beat 50/20 mode, causing them countless hours of suffering, because that's where we are as a society. We can't deal with real problems, those are out of our control, so we have to make ones up and overcome those, and it makes us feel fulfilled once we get through the grueling narrative of it. This game doesn't really have a story, so allow me to completely bullshit one up for you. William, stuck in his old raggedy fursuit, never able to commission that nice new one, at last burns to death, being told by his best friend that the darkest pit of hell is waiting for him. Will then awakes sitting in a dark office looking strangely like every Freddy's he's ever been in. He's alone, surrounded by the reminders of his life. It's empty. This is it. This is the rest of eternity. Sitting here, alone, like he's always deserved. This is hell. Meanwhile, Charlotte is finally able to join her friends up in happy party time purgatory, so they can finally move on to their peaceful afterlife. She approaches them, gives the last lost child his mask for the party, and gives them a celebratory cake. They will have the happy birthday they always wanted, without it being ruined by a crazed purple man. Then Cassidy, who is important apparently, who once inhabited, Freddy, yeah, that seems significant, says, hey, did you hear the crazy purple man is trapped in an ironic hell that looks like a security office from every Freddy's he's ever worked at? So they all get up individually and say, okay, let's go down there and destroy the place. And then they do. Charlotte, Elizabeth, Michael, Gabriel, Jeremy, Fritz, Cassidy, Phone Guy, animatronics that weren't even haunted, non-canon characters, garbage, everybody. They all show up, planning to torture the hell out of William. For you see, they can no longer sin, for he cannot die, so this is technically not murder. Once they feel at peace, once William is punished enough, they will go to their own afterlives. So when Old Man Consequences was announced to be our FNaF World representation before Dee Dee came along, there were a lot of people who were like, who is that? Which confused the shit out of me. Like, I know FNaF World wasn't received well and less people played it than the main series, but for a fandom that is obsessed with every tiny detail of every game, and at least watch Let's Plays if they don't plan on actually playing the game, it was shocking to see this many people confused about who a character from a very notable ending was. Important thing to note about him, though, putting him on 1 all alone will actually give you an ending to Ultimate Custom Night. You end up at his pond, 4 levels down in FNaF World, and he tells you to leave the demon with his demons, and to rest your own soul. There's nothing left. You might have also noticed the weird audio in this ending. Well, when you slow it down by 1,000%, it becomes distorted screams of a man who seems to be screaming the names Mike and Henry. Some people I theorize that this is William Afton in his custom hell screaming for the only people who he has ever sort of cared about. Some people hear him saying other words, but it's dubious at best, but boy can you make out the Henry. There's no metadata in the RIP sound clip saying this is from a sound effects website, and Williams actor PJ Haywood did do some voice work for Scott around the time the other VAs were, but we don't know for what, considering that neither Springtrap or Scraptrap have any new sounds or dialogue. I'm inclined to believe that this was that job, screaming names in terror into a microphone. It's not exactly the weirdest job any VA has ever gotten. I'm not crazy, shut up, okay? So in UCN, we activate whichever animatronics we want, and then try to ward them off, or you could activate all 50, and we have Shadow Dee Dee activate like 5 more, and you could try to beat it, or you could just speed up the process and hit yourself in the head with a baseball bat. Like, do we even enjoy these games anymore? They're video games, and yet we do not use them as things for enjoyment, but rather torture devices. Did you all even try to watch Dawko beat 50-20 mode? It was depressing.
You fuck! That was the best run I've had all night, and that happens. Of course it does. What a joke! What a stupid joke that is.
Yeah, he got an informative interview with Scott out of it, but why did anyone else do it? Just so they could? Is it like climbing a mountain and it's just there so you have to do it for whatever pointless reason? Is anyone else tired? There are so many theories now, so much story, and yet no meaning to any of it. Like, it's not like a message or a moral, it's just picking up the pieces of, it's just a lore collection. It's just like a library of pieces of meaningless shit. Video games don't have to have meaning, of course, but once the story is that deep, I start expecting like a moral or something. I don't know. It's just event after event, detail after detail, important plot elements you had to look in the source code of Scott's website at just the right time for, books that aren't canon, except, oh wait, you need to read the books to have context for who this character is and what this person's name is. There's so much here, and yet everyone then wants to overcomplicate it further with bad theories that have virtually no evidence. Yeah, sure, Ballora is haunted by William's wife and Mike and Liz's mom, even though no mention of Mrs. Afton is ever in the games or book, making her a non-character, and your only evidence for her non-spirit possessing Ballora is that she's a humanoid woman with titties, because God forbid a woman in fiction exist and not be someone's mother or love interest. She can't just be an independent character that's likable on her own merits. Either people think too hard or they don't think enough. They'll see something in the games that's seemingly so straightforward and then ask, what just happened? They look to other people whom they see as authority figures on these games, begging for answers, when in reality, they're no more of an authority than anyone else. They can just maybe organize their thoughts a little better. The only answer I could ever give anyone is a text description of what just happened on the screen for you. Anything else is up to you. No one is right, no one is wrong. How can you prove the unprovable? It's like, we think 3 is it, and we all cry over a hat, then 4 has to come along and just throw a giant wrench into the equation and make us question this well-told story we finally had figured out. So vague and nonsensical that even Scott sounds like he regrets it.
I don't think that people weren't really happy from a lore standpoint. I felt that it had all gone kind of too... It had strayed too far from an actual story in a way. 4 ended up just too mysterious to the point where you really couldn't, there was no real way to figure out what was going on. I knew that I had to go in and straighten that out. It's like, people aren't really happy with this. I need to make another game. I need to kind of ground this again, not necessarily in reality, but I need to ground it in kind of storytelling again.
The fandom had actually been okay for the first 3 games, then it suddenly gets turned into screaming, clawing cats after 4. Like at least with other fandoms, it's like you can't really pinpoint the exact moment it all went south. Like with bronies, it's like a gradient from going to people having fun and naming background characters to body pillow garbage heap. But no, it's like I can pinpoint the exact moment that the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom just went to shit, and it was after everyone finished 4 and had a minute to think about it. Everything Matt Pat says is gospel. The Bite of 87 explained. The puppet is Fredbear plush. The older brother is phone, and other non-provable factoids. A box is presented to us at the end of 4. We wonder what's inside the box, and then Scott tells us it's the pieces put together. But would the community accept it that way? Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Even if it's bad, the choices are let people in on what's going on, or intentionally keep it a secret because you're afraid people won't like it. It makes you seem not confident in your own work, which, if you're not, just say so, and then make sister location. 1987 or 1983, a question so pondered and an answer made so not explicit enough in the game that invented the question that it has to be confirmed to be 83 in a Reddit post. Dream Theory then came along and ruined everyone's fun. What was once just a fun game was now possibly the meaningless dreams of a child who we didn't even know the name of. We didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it, but the evidence, the toys, the bite, the violet shadows, the boy with the balloon, the purple guy helping another employee into a suit is mistaken for how he supposedly murders people, the local rumors about what exactly the plot of the games is, being treated like an outlandish idea. Spring Bunny plush is a finger trap. Mangle is a toy in a separate room, all ripped up. Freddy, Bunny, Chica, and Foxy are just these 3 kids in masks, and they don't even have animatronics. Foxy has a unique mechanic in every game because the brother is in the Foxy mask, and he's the one that torments the kid the most. Sister Location felt like an apology for even making people consider this theory. It contextualized 4 in a way that was never even considered until its creation, giving enough visual hints that implies that everything that happened was all monitored by Afton. Even the things that you thought were a dream in 4 are not dreams anymore. They actually happened. Fredbear plush wasn't haunted, he just had a walkie-talkie in him, maybe. The nightmares may have been real, possibly game versions of the twisted animatronics from the book, which would make sense considering that Nightmare is right on the cover. Is this why the main 4 animatronics are missing from Fredbear? Did William Afton take them to do his child experimentation? I don't know. You can't prove it. You can't unprove it. FNaF World. I like FNaF World. Nobody else liked FNaF World. And all of this culminates with Ultimate Custom Night. It's fun, it's voice acted, it has the potential to be the most difficult game in the series. It is often interpreted as William Afton, the purple guy's ironic hell, but more than that, it's the player's hell. We punch in our desired difficulty, and then we suffer at our own hands. We all mock Dee Dee for being annoying and making our nights worse, but is she? Is she not doing exactly what we've begged for. More content, more characters. She's giving it to us. Her song, I know how much you like to fight, so I'll add a new problem to your night. Is this not a true statement? We beg for more games, more stuff, knowing exactly what it will be like. It will be torture. Headache-inducing, time-consuming, anxiety-causing torture. And what do we get out of it? Not a charming cutscene with characters we've come to care about, not a valuable moral. No. We get lore. A story that keeps going, just to torment us with its vagueness and pieces that you know fit somewhere, but you just don't know where. We can never wrap our heads around it. Which ending is canon? Is Michael or William in the Springtrap suit, even though it was obviously William the entire time? Empty flesh husks don't bleed out and writhe in agony. There's so much of the story now, one barely knows what to do with it anymore. More and more pieces keep getting added. Remnant, Midnight Motorist, Cassidy, the Tombstones with 2 names that we thought belonged to the Night Guards. We will never know. We can never know. We think too hard or not hard enough. Sometimes the story's just a story, I suppose, but these details haunt us. Like a single, unrelated word between 2 paragraphs in a book. It's in the story physically, but what does it contribute? How does it connect? It's a story so dense that only a raging inferno could end it. Perhaps that is why the fanbase is so fascinated with creating their own versions of characters, their own alternate universe. Even if very few alterations are made, they crave meaning, they crave emotional stakes, morals, personalities, interactions, something outside of opening and closing a door for 6 hours. I tell you, I've had a lot of pent-up frustration about one of my favorite franchises over the years, but I kinda hate to criticize it. 'Cause I do like it. I wouldn't own all these toys. Scott's a cool dude, and he's trying his best, and Sister Location's mere existence forgives all. So I always feel bad afterwards, but it's not healthy to always deny one's own feelings. So while it doesn't have a linear story to make for a very good comedic summary type video, I do quite enjoy Ultimate Custom Night. For mostly the voice acting, the cute new mechanics, and the fact that I find it really funny at just how heavily implied enough it is to be William Afton's own personal hell. Well, I can't say I'm a huge fan of it basically being used by players to torture themselves. It is kind of funny. I think it offers a very nice closure to a lot of the story that we may have not known we even needed. Welcome to Robot Hell. Is this not what you wanted, fandom?
You'll suffer till the end of time, enduring tortures, most of which trapped forever here in Robot Hell!
Foxy is trash.